huge infrastructure bill that was passed by the United States Senate after months of negotiations. The Senate passed the $1.2 trillion bill for investment and jobs. Vice President Kamala Harris ventured down to the U.S. Capitol to oversee the proceedings.
On this vote, the yeas are 69, the nays are 30. The bill, as amended, is passed.
The passage was by a wide bipartisan majority, 69 to 30, 19 Republican senators voting in favor of the bill, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. President Joe Biden believes this bill will make a difference in the lives of all Americans.
I truly believe that this bill proves the voice of the people will be heard, and we can all come together to make a difference in people's lives. As you heard me say it before, and I apologize for repeating it, but there are no Republican bridges or Democratic roads. This is a moment that lives beyond the headlines, beyond partisan sound bites, beyond the culture of instant outrage, disinformation, and conflict as entertainment. This is about us doing the real hard work of governing. It's about democracy delivering for the people. This is about winning the future. It's about doing our job.
The bill includes $550 billion in new federal investments in America's infrastructure over the next 5 years. The bill earmarks $10 billion for roads, bridges, and major infrastructure projects, $40 billion for bridge repair, replacement, and rehabilitation, $39 billion to modernize public transit, $65 billion to improve the nation's broadband infrastructure, $17 billion in port infrastructure, and $25 billion in airports to address repair and maintenance backlogs. $7.5 billion goes towards zero and low emissions buses and ferries. $73 billion is allocated to rebuilding the electric grid, and $21 billion to clean up Superfund and brownfield sites, reclaim abandoned mine land, and cap orphan gas wells. The bill still has to pass in the House before President Biden can officially sign it into law. What's interesting here, Robert, is that this was a priority of the Biden administration. But if you look at polling, his numbers of polling going down. I just saw an item where they said as Biden moves to the left, his polling numbers go down. But the reality is this here: Republicans voted for this bill. He's going to be able to go to Kentucky and say, clearly your senator liked this bill. Rob Portman in Ohio liked this bill. The question, though, is will Democrats know how to properly message this win? I think back to 2009, how President Obama was utterly clueless when it came to messaging around the stimulus bill there that saved the country, and they got no benefit from it because he acted as if, oh, people will figure this thing out. No, you have to sell it.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, and I think the president's poll numbers have been going down, not because of infrastructure. They've primarily been going down because of issues with immigration and the border and some COVID response issues. The reason why there were so many Republicans on this bill is because those Republicans realized that within their individual states, infrastructure polls very well, especially hard infrastructure. Bridges, roads, highways, water systems. That's very popular with constituents, both Democrats and Republicans. Now, of course, we have to see what's in this bill. Even though we know the broad strokes, the devil is in the details, and this is a very long, complex bill, and there were a lot of amendments added at the last minute. So, for example, people down in South Louisiana, where I live, are going to be looking to see what's in there exactly for water issues and flood control and levee protection, hurricane protection, et cetera. But yes, I agree with you. Infrastructure historically is always very popular, and in the past, the Democrats have not done a good job of messaging and packaging and selling the bill, and that's going to be very important. And they have to start doing it right now, because keep in mind this bill hasn't it's passed the Senate, but it still has to go over to the House, and you don't want to have any recalcitrant House members cause problems. And the way you avoid problems in the House is you start selling the bill now, so that the House members realize, okay, this is I may think the price tag's too big, but this is going to be popular with my constituents back in my district, and I want to be reelected, so I'm going to go ahead and sign on to the bill. So yeah, they have to put on the hard press, and the lobbyists from the White House have to be over and putting on the hard press now, basically today.
They also have to make sure that with all of this money being spent, Kelly, that they are making sure that it's going to diverse communities. I've been making the point to this White House, if you're going to be spending billions of dollars, if you talk about supporting these labor unions, you better make sure that black folks are going to be getting this money as well. What this cannot be is a $1.2 trillion investment from taxpayers, and only white folks get paid.
Exactly, and that is my main concern with this bill. Where exactly is this money going to go? Because when you talk about infrastructure, like you said, people think, trains and roads and highways and the like, but the highways and the areas that need the most help are in urban communities or are in predominantly Black and people of color neighborhoods, whether it's rural or urban. Those are the roads that really need help. Those are the ones that have cracked pipes and potholes and just not sustainable for travel, transportation, or anything. We need to understand that when we talk about infrastructure, I'm thinking about the bridge down in DC where I live right now. The Benning Road Bridge collapsed a couple months ago, and this is something in that bill that could help with that situation. It hits closer to home than most people think. And when you talk about messaging, something that Republicans do really well is drive it home. They don't, use jargon that's kind of very academic or nuanced. They drive the point home to make it applicable to where people are right now. Democrats don't do that right now. If anything, they only cater, at least from what I see, the messaging only caters to those who are in their own respective circles and not to those who actually desire to vote for Democrats. So when it comes to messaging, meet people where they are, especially when it comes to this bill. You get a better road. You get better transportation. You get better bridges. You're trying to get to work and the bridge is rickety. Your bridge is going to get better. Your bridge is going to get fixed. It's not just just this pie in the sky dream of kumbaya or anything like that. We need to really drive the point home that this bill will work for you specifically.
Mustafa, again, look, if the House passes it, one of the first things Biden's got to do is hit the road and sell it hard. And my whole deal, and my deal is, go do what Reverend Barber does with the Poor People's Campaign. Put the workers up front. That's what you do. Go to the people. This was one of the biggest mistakes that Obama made when he won, and in one of the first bills that was passed in 2009. And then his White House had later admitted they did not sell the bill as a win. Democrats are going to have to speak to the people in a very basic way to say, we took control of the White House, the House, and the Senate, and we delivered for the everyday person. And you got to be able to break those things down. That's what they got to be able to do. You got to message this thing right.
Right. You got to be able to have a conversation with folks in Appalachia and in Rust Belt and on the Gulf Coast and in the breadbasket. You got to help folks to understand where the wins are for them, how their life is going to be made better, how their economic situation is going to be better. There's a lot of good things that are inside of this bipartisan bill. But, one of the things that I always call out is the lead pipes, because we saw what happened in Flint, Michigan. So we need to make sure that those 3,000 locations across our country, folks understand that their kids are not going to be impacted and that their life is going to be better. But we got to call out also there's some missing components to this bill. And hopefully the reconciliation bill will be able to capture some of this. But the human infrastructure Some of that was stripped out of this bill, and that helps you to be able to have those conversations with hardworking folks. When you've got $400 billion that came out that was supposed to be going, for healthcare workers and others, those are folks who vote. And when you don't have those dollars there, or when you take $100 billion out for workforce development. So when you were having that conversation with Kelly just now, if folks can't get trained, how are they going to be able to take advantage of these sets of opportunities that are out there? So we got to figure out a way to make sure that in this next opportunity, if the reconciliation bill actually passes, that you get some of that stuff built back in, along with all the climate stuff that was not a part of this. Yeah, there's a little bit in there for EVs, for buses, and some other things, and that's incredibly important. But there's a huge amount of things that weren't inside of this bipartisan bill that we got to get right.
Folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Yo, this is Ziggy Marley. Catch my live performance on Seek.
Bon Jovi, and you're watching us on Seek. What's going on? This Quavo Huncho, because right now you in the Huncho's world. Please let the music play.
Of course, a couple of the products from the folks at Seek. They have their, of course, their great headsets. They're 360-degree audio sound. You can see the. This is, of course, the box right here. You can get the headphones in black and gold. Mustafa, that's a great color, of course. Us alphas, we love that. And they also have the headset in all gold. And so, again, you can get this. This is a black-owned company. Mary Spio is the founder of the product. They also have, of course, their virtual headset. And so, let me grab that right here. This is their VR headset where you can actually place your phone inside of the headset, and you can check out their virtual reality content at seek.com. Use the promo code RMVIP21, RMVIP21. The proceeds of what you purchase comes back to support Roland Martin Unfiltered. Y'all know what we do on this show. We support black-owned businesses, and that's what we are about. So go to seek.com, use the promo code RMVIP21.